Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
good. How are you?
Doing good?
That actually
Yeah,
worked
the
really
room
well
set
this
up.
time.
What was that?
It worked really well this time. Sometimes it doesn't connect right away.
Oh yeah.
Ugh,
Right.
yeah, my kid is crashing the interview apparently.
Oh, great. See a few people joining in. So thanks for coming. If you have any questions, just put them in there. And thanks for coming, Cody.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, definitely. Did you want to introduce yourself for anyone who may not know you?
Yeah, my name is Cody Perez. I'm one of the two vocalists of American Overdose, a shock rock band from Portland, Oregon. We've been around since 2010. I started the band in 2009, working with a producer, and just we've been very active for the last, whatever, 14, 15 years. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen you guys all over TikTok, all over Instagram, and definitely have the Slipknot vibes, but you also have your own thing, which is very cool. So
Thank you.
yeah, how did you get started into music originally?
So for me, I was always around music because my dad was a radio DJ and also a musician himself. So I was always around music. What really changed it for me was my cousin introduced me to three albums that I'll never forget. Three albums, three bands: Metallica, the Black Album; Korn, the self-titled album; and Pantera, Vulgar Display of Power. And that was when I was about 9 years old, 10 years old. So before, I'd always hear the music that my parents played around me. So anything from so like the Hano Mexican music to the Doors, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin that my dad liked, that kind of stuff. And up until my cousin introduced me to those three bands, that's when I was like, "Whoa, this is badass! This is angry! This is intense! This is awesome!" And so that's when I started getting into like rock music. And then some of my other cousins got me into like rap. So introducing me to Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and that kind of stuff. So I got heavily into like the extreme hard, heavy metal stuff and then also the gangster rap. And then I started, exploring and into other bands on my own, like, finding Deftones, Marilyn Manson, eventually Slipknot, that kind of stuff. And so once I got into music, I always had like a acoustic guitar that my dad had given me. I started strumming along, looking at tabs on the internet, and just trying to teach myself to read tabs, and playing simple songs like Nirvana and anything I can get, anything that basically I could get my hands on online for tabs. And then it all changed for me once I went and saw Slipknot live. I was 14 years old, and I saw them play a place called the Rosen Theater here in Portland. And it was a small little club venue, holds about 1,200 people max there. And once I saw, the intensity they put on and the reaction from the crowd, and I felt the energy, I was like, I need to be a musician. So I started practicing at home along to some of my favorite bands with the microphone plugged into my one of those old school stereos that has like the CD disc changers and tape players and all that. Had that connected to my computer, and I would have like my music coming through the speakers, and then plug in my microphone and sing along to a lot of my favorite
Yes, you
bands,
did.
and trying to teach myself and whatnot. So that's basically how I started, and started playing with my friends. My buddy picked up guitar, and then I had a friend that played drums, and another friend that had guitar, and we would just jam and try to do cover tunes and whatnot.
Very cool. Do you have a question, Jojo?
No, go ahead. I was laughing at him walking out with marshmallows and stuff. Um,
I know you went over a little bit, how American Overdose got started, but I know there's been a few lineup changes. So how did the current lineup come together?
So yeah, we've had a lot of lineup changes over the years, as you know. Band that's been around for 15 plus years. People come and go. This current lineup, the weird thing about it is that I had many, many years ago when I was looking to join a band, had tried out for the band that my bass player and my guitar player had back in the day. So they used to play in a band with one of my best friends who I also had a band with like this, but we're talking about like high school days.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing was that I remember one time my buddy had quit the band that he had been playing with them in, and we were online and we were like putting our band together, and he started talking to them. I didn't know who they were, but they started talking trash to us. We started talking trash to them on instant messenger. Like we're just going back and forth, just talking trash to each other like kids do.
Mm-hmm.
And many years later, I end up seeing an ad or some a buddy of mine, not a buddy of mine now, but back then it was just a stranger. He saw that I had a band that I had put a really bad demo up online, and he's like, "Hey, man, I see that you're in the Salem area. You're a vocalist, and I hear the potential in your voice. I have this band that just is looking for a singer. They just lost their singer, and if you want to come try out and give it a shot, these guys are real, the real deal." So he sent me a couple of their tracks, and I, kind of learned them, jammed them, and went and tried out, jammed with them, and then I didn't know what was going to come of it, if anything, after jamming with them. The next day, they got back with their old singer, so obviously nothing went with that. But I stayed in contact with them and became friends with them, and they actually took me on stage for the first time ever to do guest vocals on one of their songs. And I'd always go and support them and their band, and I became friends with the whole band, their singer and their other guitar player and their bass player. And just over the years, like I met a lot of people through them, and eventually I ended up starting my own band after being in and out of bands. I started American Overdose out of spite of just being mad at like how I couldn't find people that were committed, having to start all over when I'd start a project, be committed, it would fall apart, and then I have to start with a new band name, new songs, and all that. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna start my own band. That way, if the members don't don't work out, I can keep moving forward with the name and with the music. And eventually, I guess what ended up happening is, I stay in contact with these guys. We've been friends, hang out all the time. I go support their projects and whatnot. They got word that we had just lost our guitar player and our bass player, and they're like, "Hey, we're down. We're down to come jam with you and come fill in." And I thought they were just drunk talking because I never thought they had any interest in what I was doing with my band.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ignored it. And then like a month later, we saw each other again, ran into each other, and they're like, "Dude, we want to come, jam with you. We'll come in and fill in." I'm like, "All right, well, let's give it a shot and see what happens." And they came out, and if the energy was there, it felt right. It sounded heavy, and the rest has been history. We get along really well. We have a great chemistry with each other. We laugh at the same kind of stuff. We like the same style of music. Um, so it's been awesome.
That's awesome. Is there anybody that you would like to collab with in the future?
Lots of people, definitely. There is someone that I am going to be working with here, a very well known, I would consider a new metal legend.
Mhm.
His band is legendary. I'll be working with him on vocals for a song that we're working on, a brand new one. I won't say who yet until we, have it all kind of tied up and we get going with it. But I talked to him yesterday on the phone, and I'm very excited because it's going to be someone that I consider in my top five vocalist lists. And growing up, I was a huge fan of his band, and so that person for sure. I'd love to work with Chad Gray someday, Corey Taylor. It'd be awesome to do a song with Tech Nine someday. Um, Bad Omens is one of my favorite bands right now, so I'd love to do a song with Noah.
No.
That'd be awesome.
Lots of people, man. I would love to just. I love collaborating. My favorite thing about doing music, honestly, is having an idea and working with somebody and bouncing ideas off each other. Like I'm not one of those people. Like I know musicians. There's musicians that are so headstrong about like when they write something, it's like it has to be this way or nothing. It's like I like to bounce ideas back and forth with people and collaborate. So it'd be something really fun to do.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely. So CJ wants to know who are your top five favorite bands?
Oh wow. Well, obviously Slipknot, Slipknot, Mudvayne. Right now, Bad Omens. I would say Pantera for sure, and man, that that fifth one is going to be hard because I have a lot of them that I can think of, but I'll just say it off the top of my head. I'll say Corn.
Corn's one of mine too, and Beth.
Yep.
But yeah, like OG Corn, like I love them.
It
They're
don't get
probably
no
like,
better.
yeah, they were like my gateway into, cause I kind of like you talked about growing up with like the gangster rap and stuff. Like that's kind of how I was, and then I got in, 90s girls, so I got into NSYNC and all that nonsense.
You and your NSYNC.
But I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
know. You saw that.
yeah, the first time I heard Corn, I was like, holy shit! Like
I,
just blew my mind.
I think Corn is definitely like they're definitely a gateway band because they have the groove and they have that rap kind of influence to them as
Hmm.
well. And so yeah, I would say that for sure they've gotten a lot of people into heavier music.
Yeah.
Creed is good too. I
Creed.
mean, I don't care what anybody says. They had some good music.
I have a couple of songs that I like by them. They're classics. Like there's a song
Mhm.
called Bullets from way
Yep.
back when that I freaking love. Like it's one of my favorite tracks by them. Um, I don't know what I don't know what to think about the new like stuff that they're doing now, but it's nostalgic, so whatever.
I can't wait to hear the new song that you were talking about and to find out who it's going to be with, because based on the bands you were mentioning, sounds like it's probably going to be somebody awesome. So
It's not someone off that list, though. I'll tell you that that his band would be on there, but I had to think of like the old OGs. He's on my
yeah,
top five
I
singer
didn't
list.
That
I
was
didn't
clever.
think you would put it on there because then we would have
Yeah, you
guessed.
you would have guessed it, and I was like, nah. And I know the person that probably asked that is very likely was trying to get an idea
Right?
of who I'm
I think
talking
so too.
about. But
Probably.
What instruments do you play?
so I'm a vocalist, obviously, but at home I can do a little bit of guitar. I don't consider myself a guitarist, but I can come up with like skeleton ideas. So I can do like basic rhythms and a little bit of ideas here and there. And I can play a little bit of keyboards. I took lessons for piano when I was like in third grade for about a year. I can just do really basic stuff. I have a good ear, I guess, for coming up with basic skeleton ideas for things because I can do a little bit of drums on the MIDI board, but I wouldn't consider myself a drummer either. So I'm kind of just like a song starter, I guess. I don't know how you'd say that, like igniter. But yeah, I do play at home as much as I can when I have an idea and come up with ideas, and then I send them off to my producer or whoever I'm working with to get a better take on it. Someone that's more I would consider more a guitarist or a drummer or whatnot.
Yeah.
Awesome. Jojo.
Go ahead. My laptop's in the house charging, so.
All right, what is your creative process like?
Oh man. So my creative process, I have to be in the mood for it. If I try to sit down and I force myself to try to write, it will always turn out bad. I'll get frustrated with myself. So a lot of times what I'll do is if I get a song, I'll listen to it a couple of times, and then if I have instantly an idea, I will start typing away and I'll start recording some ideas to it. If I don't have anything that comes like to mind right away, I just let it sit after I've been listening to it a bit, and then I will go do something else to take my mind off of it, and then I'll come back to try to listen to it again a couple of times and see if it sparks something different in me or inspires something in me. Sometimes literally it's I'll wake up because I've really bad insomnia. I'll wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden I have this lyric or this melody in my head, and I'm like, all right, I got to go get this out of my system. And luckily my studio is right across from my room, so I just walk across the hallway, come in here, and I will write it, record it, or whatever, whisper it so I don't wake anybody up here. And that's kind of how I work. The funny thing is that I exactly don't force it. I like that. The funny thing is that like I was just watching a podcast with Chad Gray from Mudvayne, and I always thought because I have a form of dyslexia where like numbers and whatnot I say them backwards, and I always thought that I had the dyslexia with my writing. And then I heard this interview that he was talking about how he writes, and he mentioned that he doesn't write linear, that he writes for parts in the song that inspire him and bring up the idea. So I do the same thing. Like sometimes I start right in the chorus and I have an idea for the chorus, but I don't have any ideas for what the song, like the lyrics are going to be for the verses or anything else, or I'll have an idea for the bridge, and then I'll build off of that. So I don't really have a linear way of writing when I'm writing the lyrics. I mostly try to focus on melodies first. So I will get on the keyboard and I'll mess with the MIDI notes and I will see what melodies might work and I'll just record a couple of different takes. And then I'll listen to those melodies with the music and I'll try to think of words and syllables that would fit in there. And then once I have an idea of that, then I try to clean it up and I try to tighten it and make it more personal with the lyrics and something that tells a story or something that can get people inspired and open their minds to think about things differently.
Definitely.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So
Do you guys have anything to do? Go ahead, Jen.
Did you want to read the question that was in the chat?
Which one? Oh, thoughts on a crossovers like Poppy with Poppy with Bad Omens or Fawns with A2M or Electric Callboy with Baby Metal.
I think it's cool. When I first found out that Poppy was doing the Bad Omens thing, I was like, "Well, this will be interesting." I didn't know what to expect, and then when I heard it, I was like, "God damn, that's catchy! Like it sounds really, really, really good. Like she killed it." The only thing I wish they would have done differently on that is I wish that Noah would have sang more on it, and it would have been more like a little bit of her, a little bit of him, a little bit of her, and then in the middle, like they do they sing together. But I saw the live version. It sounds like he's kind of like doing some backups in there or singing along with her. So I think it's awesome when anytime that you can create something that is different that hasn't already been done or that people put something together that doesn't necessarily you would never think that they go together is how you get the best kind of music. I think so. My favorite genre of any form of music is new metal, and new metal is it's such a wide like spectrum of different styles of music. It's like there could be new metal like Limp Bizkit, or there could be new metal like Slipknot, or new metal like a band like Static X, or new metal like I consider Marilyn Manson a little bit new metal. So like early albums. So it's one of those things where we wouldn't have these kind of styles of music if it wasn't for people being pioneers of trying something that doesn't necessarily make sense when you first hear about something like that. I haven't heard the other two tracks that they mentioned there with Electric Callboy or with Franz from Attila, but I do like a lot of the stuff that I'm hearing from Attila. I think Franz is a badass. So and Electric Callboy does some awesome shit too. So I'm a fan of theirs. I'll have to check those out. I didn't know that they did some collaborations.
There you go.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, I think some of the best music comes out from people trying new things and collaborating with people you wouldn't expect them to.
Definitely.
Will AOD consider doing any covers in the future? If so, what?
Yes. So I'm actually working on one right now, as a matter of fact. So we are doing a cover. It's a pop song from the 90s. I won't say which one, but it will be done sooner than later. And we plan on releasing it this year, but it's a song that you wouldn't expect us to sing. But like last time that we did Katy Perry, expected to be something similar to that, but we're going to make it AOD version. With the 90s making a comeback, I thought it was appropriate to grab something from my childhood, that was popular on MTV and bring it back to a song that I always felt had a dark edge to it. There was a pop song and just make it our own. So that will be coming here soon, hopefully. And the only thing is that I had to put it on pause because I started working on that new song that I was telling you about that we'll be working with new metal
That person.
vocalist. Yeah, that person.
That
Because when I got the new song, I was like, dude, this needs to be the priority right now. The cover can take a back seat, but rest assured that yes, we will have a cover here hopefully shortly before the end of the year.
well, the covers definitely sounds exciting. Also, can't wait.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I'll let you pick that one, Jojo.
Thanks. If you had to eat one thing from Tim Hortons for the rest of your life, what would that item be?
Tim Horton, what is it? I'm not 100% sure what that is.
It's a coffee shop here in Canada.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with it, but if it's a coffee shop, it would probably be coffee. I would just say that, unless they have waffles. I love waffles.
They have like donuts. They have, yes, I'm Canadian. They
I
have
love
donuts. They have like
donuts.
pastries and stuff
Yep.
like that.
I would first do coffee, and then if I'm hungry, it'd be waffles or donuts. Tim Hortons is the Dunkin' Donuts of Canada. All right, that lets me know
There
and
you go.
understand what it is. We don't really have on this side of the coast, anyways. A lot of the Dunkin' Donuts got shut down, so I think they're more on the East Coast now. But I used to love them.
Yeah, we have a few, and I'm in New Mexico, so we still have a few Dunkins out here. But
Nice. My best friend's down in New Mexico. That he's stationed out there in the
oh,
military.
cool. Not. All right, is there any song? Is there a song of yours that means the most to you, and why?
It depends on the day. So there was a song that I wrote when I was going through a really tough time. A song is called "Open Eyes." Um, it was kind of right when I was like self-destruct, just in complete self-destruction mode, and I was feeling hopeless and just not doing well with decisions I was making, the way I was living, the people I was around. Just everything was going bad, and um, it was almost like these lyrics just started coming to me, and I don't even know how to explain it, but what I was writing on the guitar part and the keyboard, it sounded positive and it sounded inspiring. And the lyrics also that were just coming to those melodies were all positive. So I was almost like singing to myself, like almost like reminding myself that things were going to get better and I could get through the tough times. So I would say "Open Eyes." If you look that up, it's the last song on our brand new album. That song probably means a lot to me, just thinking back about where I was when I wrote that, and just the positive message that it has, and recording the video that I did for it as well. It just brings back a lot of memories of some craziness that I was going through at that time. So I'd say "Open Eyes."
Awesome.
Awesome.
Dickerson says, "Hello, love the new songs. Need to pick up the album." Yes.
Hell yeah, Dickerson. Thank you so much. The new album it's honestly to me like it's the best that we've done yet. Very, 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 very proud of what we did. A lot of time was spent in that, and I just feel like it's a growth from the band, from what we were to what we've become, and it's only going to get better from here as far as I see it, because we're going to continue to evolve, but keep that AOD sound to us. And so the feedback has been awesome about the album, so I'm very thankful for that and thankful for everybody that's listening.
Show them what it's all. You're going to go to Tim Hortons after this, and you're going to go get yourself a farmer's wrap if that's the case.
What is that?
Crap.
I do want to visit
It's
Canada. I do want to visit Canada. I think it'd be awesome to go out there.
yeah. James, he likes to pick on the way I pronounce my R's
You
sometimes, and he said farmer's wrap, and I said I'm not saying it, so I did.
know? I watch a lot of Trailer Park Boys, and the Canadian accents sometimes like get stuck in my head, and I start like
Yeah.
find myself imitating it and
Oh
whatnot.
yeah.
You
Anybody that I know.
sounded great saying it, JoJo.
Thank you. See, she thinks so.
Love it.
What is the funniest or craziest thing to have happened at a show?
Oh man, I mean, there's been lots of craziness that's happened over the years. I mean, especially in my drinking days. I'm sober now, but in my drinking days, there was a time where my pants ripped on stage and literally fell off. So I'm like up there in my boxers, and like I got a beer in one hand, my microphone in the other one. I'm trying to sing, and like my pants are like completely down to my almost my ankles. They're ripped, and
Oh no.
I was not, for whatever reason, I was not even thinking about, oh, I should probably pick up my pants. I just kept singing along. I jumped in the crowd, and luckily it was a bar. It was, 21 plus. If it would have been an all age venue, I probably would have gotten arrested or something.
Probably.
Not that anything was showing, but like for indecent exposure, who knows, like what could have happened.
But yeah,
That's
exactly.
just one crazy thing. I mean, we had a crazy thing happen earlier this year. Our bass player like knocked over his bass amp. He tripped off the stage and knocked over our banner. And then I was happening at the same time, the same show. I was trying to step forward to go towards the crowd, and I didn't notice that these speakers, there was a gap between them. So you can, and there's video of this out there on the internet where I fell through the hole and somehow like I caught myself with my two like arms as I was going down. Otherwise, I would have hurt myself really bad on the guardrail and underneath. But I popped right up and didn't miss a beat. So
Awesome.
that was one of the crazy things I think that just recently happened that I can think of. We played this really small bar in Topeka, Kansas, a couple of weeks ago, and the stage was the size of like a drum riser. So there was no room for us. We kept blowing out the power for the PA and the lights that we brought along with us, like 3 different times. And our bass player Rommel's playing up on the bar because there was no room for him to be on the stage. So he just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get up on the bar." So there's been that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. AOD shows are always crazy. You never know what to expect. I'm not just saying that. It truly is just because we are all kind of crazy. And like I said, I'm sober now, but I still am like out there, nutty. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
CJ wants to party with you, so it's all good.
Hey, partying is different now. Like partying for me is like I'll still hang out with everybody. My band loves to drink and they like to drink and smoke and whatnot. But partying for me is like usually getting jacked up on some Red Bulls, or what we call Chernobylis. We got that off of Hot Tub Time Machine. But basically anything that has energy drinks in it, we call
Mhm.
Chernobylis. And we just like to pull pranks on each other. We just like to like mess with each other, take video of different things, just poking at each other. Like we grew up on, Beavis and Butthead, South Park, Simpsons, Jackass, the Jerky Boys, all that stuff. So it's for us, it's like anytime we're hanging out, it's a party. We're gonna have some fun. We want people to laugh. We want to make people feel part of the show. And so, yeah, that's you need to come out and party with us. Come out to a show if we're ever near your area, Easter CJ.
I
yeah,
think
you
he
don't know.
said you guys are like an hour away, so from where
Oh,
he is.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he said he was an hour from you.
Oh, where's he at? Where are you at, Easter CJ? If he's an hour away, he has no reason not to be at our show on Friday. We have a show this Friday in Salem, which is about an hour away from where I'm at. It's the
Mhm.
capital of Oregon. So if he's an hour away from us, he should make the drive out there.
Yeah,
It's almost sold out, but it's
today.
You heard Cody, CJ. You got to do it.
come out, hang out. We'll take some pictures. We'll talk some shit. We'll laugh. We'll fucking make some pranks and talk some shit to the guys.
Absolutely.
What's the best prank you ever did?
Um, well, one of them that still we talk about to this day, and we ended up getting a tattoo over it, is I pranked my drummer, and we were on a little tour that we did back in like this was several years ago. This was when we were first starting out. We were in an RV, and our drummer had this thing about wearing long socks all the time, Brick. And we'd always give Brick a hard time. We're like, dude, in the pictures, please don't wear long socks. It's really unprofessional looking in the pictures. You need to stop doing that. And this one time that we were out on the road, we went to my uncle's house. We're down in California at one of the stops, and somehow my socks ended up getting really like just soaked from the pool that we were hanging out in. And they were somehow I ended up with long socks. I don't know how or why because I don't wear long socks, but I had long socks in this case. And so what I did was like, you know what? I'm gonna get Brick. I'm just gonna get people to like just everyone on the that was on the road with us to just give him shit for this. So I grabbed the wet socks and I placed them over like where his luggage and stuff was that he had all his clothes in the RV. And next thing you know, like my brother comes out and he's like, "Whose fucking socks are these? They're all wet and they're nasty and blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Well, the only person that wears long socks is Brick." And so we literally, I'm not kidding you when I say this, we spent like 3 hours just attacking him and just clowning on him. And like, we are doing the Cinderella thing. We're like, dude, can you just put the socks on and make sure, like, see if they fit and how they fit on you? And if they fit, they're yours. And like, he was in denial and he's like, dude, they're not mine. They're not mine. So we harassed him so much that day. And then after that, even on the drive back and for months later, we harassed him for so long. And one night that we were partying, like I'm talking 6 months later, maybe even a year later, I confessed to it. And I'm like, dude, you know what? I got something to tell you. It was me that had the wet socks from my uncle's house, and I framed you just because I wanted you to, get a bunch of shit for wearing long socks. And to this day, we still laugh about it. And we ended up getting tattoos of like a sock, like I'll show you. Let me see. Let me see if I can show you. It's on my leg. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
like
my.
a sock of a like American flag kind of, and we all have this, and it all spawned from that prank, and I'm probably proud of that one the most, but we've done a lot of cruel shit to each other. It's just the one that comes up to mind.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
He- He's
CJ
in McMinnville.
McMinnville. I don't know where that is.
He's in McMinnville. I don't have tickets. The ticket link is on our Facebook if you find it on there, or if you look on my timeline, I posted a link to buy tickets. So you can get tickets on there. I think they're like $18 or something like that. They're pretty cheap. Come out and I'll hook you up with some stuff if you come out.
There you go.
Awesome. What's your favorite
Um,
song to perform live?
What's my favorite
Song
what to perform live?
to perform
Song?
live. Yeah.
Um,
yes, she kept cutting out for me too.
it's hard. So my favorite song to play, it depends on the day, but right now I would say I love playing Toxic, which is our recent single. And I love playing Damage. Those two songs to me, I don't know what it is. I think it's Damage because it's the opening song that we come out to, and then the crowd's like all into it. And Toxic is just very catchy, and it's got everything I like in a song. It's got the heavy catchiness, it's got the melodic little crazy parts, it's got the intensity. So if I had to pick one Toxic, if I can pick two, Toxic and Damaged.
Nice.
Sorry for the motorcycle that's driving up and down the road.
Dickerson Dickerson says, "When's the next home show? Wish I could make it Friday. Damn it. I don't know when the next show is going to be around here. We don't typically play, or we don't play Portland or Salem very often. It's very rare. This is only our first show in Salem in over a year. We played Portland earlier this year. We played with the Killer's Confession, which is Waylon, formerly of Mushroom Head's band. We played Portland at Dante's in March to play with his band. I did get word that we'll be playing Portland next year, opening up for a national act, but it hasn't been announced or anything yet. So the next time I know for sure, Portland will be, I think, January. Maybe before then, but I don't know. We don't have anything booked just yet.
Do you have a dream venue that you'd want to play at?
It's a good question. I've been lucky enough to play a lot of legendary places. Like I played the Whiskey A Go Go in California, West Hollywood. I played Harpo's in Detroit, Michigan. I played the Agora in Cleveland, Ohio. We played the Forge out in Joliet, Illinois. Um, I can't think of anything necessarily. I would love to play a Danny Wimmer festival. That's if that counts, like wherever that is. So I'd like to play, Welcome to Rockville or Aftershock or Incarceration or Sonic Temple. One of those big festivals. That would be a dream for me. But nothing specific to a venue comes to mind. Hell, I even played the. I played the. I played the venue the Dimebag got shot in. That was pretty
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
That
Yeah,
is intense.
that was yeah. There was a weird vibe there for sure. So that was pretty
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, yeah. You missed the one in March. That was a great show we did with Killer's Confession and Mike's Dead at Dante's. We had a blast doing that. It was awesome turnout, and people went nuts because we hadn't played Portland in over like 6 years. So sometimes that's what happens. We just focus on the regional areas, and um, Portland and Salem are kind of not always on the itinerary.
That's awesome. I love Mike Stead. He
They
puts on a good show.
they put on a good show. They're good people too. They were really nice to us. So
Do you have a pre-show ritual?
pre-show ritual. I guess I would consider the putting on the makeup kind of a ritual. So what ends up happening is, I will slowly start to get ready. So like we call it phase one, phase two, phase three. So phase one is typically I will get my contacts in. I might put some of my makeup around the eyes, get my stage pants on and my stage shirt, um, and typically start getting water's ready, get my microphone in my pocket, get my in-ears set up. That's as ritual as it gets right now. I don't think I have anything else. We're not sacrificing goats or anything like that yet.
That's good.
Not yet.
Not yet. That's
I don't know. I have a spider that's above my head that you can have if you want to do that. So
right.
that's how I keep looking up.
Before it would be like we'd be taking shots or whatnot. And sometimes the guys do, they'll take shots or whatever. But um, that was a ritual that we would do is take shots or shotgun a beer before, after, or both on the shows and whatnot. But
Where in Salem are you playing
uh,
at?
we are playing at a place called the Infinity Room, which is downtown on Liberty Road. I'm not 100% sure where it's at exactly, but it's in the downtown area, all age venue. So bring your kids. I believe the show starts at 7. There's 3 bands, killer bands, To Die Elsewhere. They're from Salem, I believe. Proven, which I'm really good buddies with those guys, and two of my band members are from that band. They're a hardcore band, and then of course there's us. I think we play right at 9:30, and the show goes until 10. So
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, CJ said Aftershock would be a wicked venue to play.
oh
Did-
yeah,
I didn't see that
yeah,
one.
they-
Good catch.
I
no,
keep seeing the Aftershock lineups, and I'm just
yeah.
like, I would love to play that.
I'm going to Aftershock this year.
Oh,
It's
you're gonna have a
awesome.
blast.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm probably gonna die 4 days at a festival, but worth it.
You know what? Anymore, like it seems like for me, like even going to one like show, if it's all day and out in the sun, man, I'm like burnt out, and I'm like, I don't know how people do this for 4 days and then camp. Like we played the Rockfest out in Cadott, Wisconsin, this last couple weeks ago, and that's a 4-day festival. We were only there for 2 of the days, and we ended up leaving early because it was so hot, just so full of people, and that sun was just beating down on us. So I stayed like hidden in our camping area until it was time for us to get to play, and then the next day we were like, all right, I think we should probably just leave before we get stuck in the traffic here and trying to get out and to get to our next show.
Yeah.
We can shock in a Red Bull. I'm down for that. That sounds like fun. Gonna be super wired. I'm already crazy as it is, and then you add energy drinks, and I'm just like bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'll definitely need a lot of monsters or something when I'm at Aftershock. So.
Red Bulls, monsters. I can't do monsters. Like monsters and Rockstar just never have that taste that I like.
Really?
Man.
I can't drink Red Bull without tasting vodka.
Oh, I guess yeah, that's true. Like I used to always drink Red Bull with Jaeger or with any form of vodka.
Yeah.
You know what's a good one is Nos. I don't know if you've tried the Nos, the blue can.
Yeah.
Those wire you, and those are good.
For sure. What's the best advice you've ever been given? It could be music related or just life in general.
I would say work your ass off. I was always taught like by my grandma and my dad and my mom, like just work your ass off. Put in the work. It's worth it. Um, no matter what you do, put your all into it, your passion, and don't do anything that you don't do something for monetary reasons or things that for any other reason than your own will and what you want to do. Um, I guess the working your ass off part is probably the thing that's stuck with me the most, just because I consider myself an entertainer. I don't consider myself a great vocalist, but I consider myself a great entertainer. And I know there's a lot of amazing vocalists out there that I have to work my ass off to even, try to continue to be up there and to compete. So working my ass off, I think, would be the number one thing that stuck with me.
Yeah, that's good advice too, because like you mentioned, not being the best vocalist. I mean, if you work on it, you can get there. So I know we interviewed a guitarist the other day, and he talked about how when he first started playing guitar, he like sucked, and his friend was like, yeah, you suck today, but tomorrow you're gonna suck a little less, and then you're gonna suck less, and so that was something that kind of stuck with me. Like if something you're passionate about, just keep trying it, and eventually you'll get there.
Very true. You'll always only get better if you're really working at it. So yeah, that's very, very true and inspiring.
What do you do for fun outside of music?
So outside, I like to hang out with my girlfriend and my dogs. Got two little puppies, so we hang out with them a lot, watch movies, go swimming, watch movie. Like, did I say watch movies? I think I said watch
Yeah.
movies.
Okay.
Just go out and about. Like, I love barbecuing and grilling. I love to cook. Like, one of my favorite things to do is cooking. It's very therapeutic to me. Go to concerts, go to comedy shows, travel, um, just hang out with friends, be around good people. Like, that's my favorite thing, is just being around, being social, having some laughs. Like I said, I'm sober now. I'm gonna hit a year in September. And one thing I realized is that, like, so much of my life was always so focused on the drinking and partying part of it. I never really appreciated the other side of like doing things. And now that I've been sober and my mind's clear and all that, I appreciate all the small things and living in the moment and not having something I feel like I have to do, like drinking or whatnot, to have a good time. So
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, congratulations. That's awesome.
thank you.
Yeah. What
that
is
is
your
definitely a
favorite
big step.
genre of movie? What'd you say, Jojo?
Oh, I said that's a big
Oh,
step.
yeah.
It's good.
What's
Thank
your
you.
genre of movies?
Favorite genre of movies? I like thriller and I like comedies. So, like movies that make you think and movies that could possibly happen. I love the slasher films from like the 80s and the 90s. Like, those will always have a special place in my heart. But like movies that I feel like where things just happen, where like I'm like, oh well, that could never happen. Those usually I lose interest in, and like I'm not a big fan of sci-fi. But thrillers that make you think, like those psychological thriller
Yeah.
movies, that make you see things in a different way, those are like my prime things I love. That, and just like the silly humor ones, like the comedies, like, like anything from old school, Hot Tub Time Machine, like Hangover, that kind of stuff. Those are my favorite type of, like, just the really stupid, inappropriate comedies. And I've actually grown to like the rom coms too. Like, those are those aren't too
I'm
bad.
trying.
Um,
I
yeah,
I, I can't.
we were watching Hitch the other day with Will
Yeah.
Smith and Kevin James, and it's like some of those movies are just like they're just great
The
classics to me.
The only
rom
one that I
coms were
found that I
so good.
watched, right, and that I didn't hate was The Ugly Truth.
The Ugly Truth. I haven't seen that.
I haven't either.
That has Gerard Butler in it. It's actually
Oh,
really good.
I
Yeah.
might have to check that out. The Ugly Truth.
Yeah.
There's another
Um.
one. There's what is it? Guess Who, with
Oh my God.
Bernie Mac, and what's his name?
Um.
Ah, God, he's from that '70s show.
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher,
That's
yeah.
it.
Another one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, I remember that one now.
Natural Libra. Oh
Natural
my
Leader.
God, I haven't heard that one in a
It's a
while.
classic, stupid film, but yes,
That
a
yeah.
Yes.
classic. Shallow Hal, like, Jack Black was great in all those early 2000s movies. Like, I loved him on
His
Shallow
Tenacious D
Hal and
movie.
School of Rock was amazing.
School of,
School of
dude,
Rock was
Orange County.
awesome,
Orange County. He played like such a great drug addict
Yeah.
on that.
right? CJ wants to know what kind of puppies you have.
They're Peekapoos, so they're part Pekingese, part poodle. They're mostly dominant in their Pekingese side. They have like a lot of the characteristics of that, but like they have like the big tough guy of a poodle and the intellectual of a poodle. They're such smart dogs. So I have Tasmanian Devil, and he really is a devil. Like, he reminds me of him. He'll chase around his tail and go in circles, and like he's my little chunky butt animal. Like, I love him. He's all like thick. I call him thicker than a Snicker. And then we have loving Lorenzo. Lorenzo's like the lovey dog, and he's like more timid, and he's more like come up on you and love on you. But he's got like a little feisty personality, so he's like very possessive of all of this thing. So like if Taz comes near the food bowl and Lorenzo's right there, he like starts hissing at him and like growling at him like to get
Yeah.
away. And it's probably because he's like the little guy, he's like the little runty dog, and then Taz is like the chunky one, and so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have a sheepdog and a lab, and they're like that too. They're big, but they have little dog energy, so they think they're
Oh
lap
God,
dogs.
they always do, and
All big
it's
dogs
a
have little dog energy there.
it's adorable because then the little dogs think they have like the energy or the toughness of a big
Yeah.
dog, and it's like, come on, get it together.
Yeah.
So funny. Is there anything you've always wanted to try or learn that you haven't done yet?
Um, well, a recent thing that came up was screen printing. Me and my bass player Rommel were talking about, me wanting to do that. I think it'd be interesting for me to handle more of the merch and getting that stuff done myself. I've
Mhm.
always wanted to do that, and I had the materials for it. I just couldn't find the time for it or the patience. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe someday, getting that going, that'd be nice. I'd like to get better at guitar, so maybe taking some lessons at getting better at that would be cool.
Awesome. CJ says he has a miniature Saint Bernard mix and a German Shepherd mix.
Oh,
Aw, that sounds
They are
that's
so
adorable.
cute. They are
That is
so cute.
cute. I love animals. I love dogs. I love cats. I love all forms of animals. Shout out to Brandon, my old bass player's in here.
Oh,
Brandon Sills.
Hey,
awesome.
Brennan.
Yeah,
Hey.
Brandon's a badass.
What was the first concert you ever saw?
That was Slipknot. So I went when I was 14 and I saw Slipknot playing a small 1,200 club venue here in town in Portland. I was 14 years old, and what was funny is that I didn't know who Mudvayne was, but Mudvayne was on that tour with them,
Mm.
and they were the very first official band I saw. I didn't know who they were, but they came out on stage, opened up the show, and I was like, "Holy hell, who is this?" Because I was there for Slipknot,
Mm-hmm.
and they blew my mind. And after that, went straight to Napster to go find their music and whatnot.
Napster.
But Slipknot was my first time seeing a show. They were the reason I went. I was 14 years old, and that is what got me sold me on wanting to be a musician. They ended up setting a bunch of shit on fire on stage, and
Oh, whoa.
they ended up getting banned from playing that venue. So they're not allowed to play that
Oh,
venue
wow.
anymore. So
I can
yeah,
see that.
yep,
A little bit.
But yeah, I love finding new bands at shows. Like, I found some of my favorite bands opening for other bands, and it's awesome. You should always go out and see the openers.
that's the best way to find bands too. Is sometimes it's great to have Spotify recommend something, but it's so simple to just hit the skip button. But if you're at a live show, you get there early. You're forced to see it. You're forced to hear it, and so I love seeing the energy, and then after I fall in love with what I'm hearing, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go check them out. I'll make a note on my phone, and then I'll go download or stream some of their music and just check it out because I always love finding new bands. It's
Yeah, same. And a lot of times the live performance is like way better than what you're gonna hear on Spotify anyway. So
Oh, for sure. Usually, the intensity there too, and
yeah,
that's the one thing I love about live music is that it never usually. I mean, there's some bands that do sound very close to their albums, and I always can appreciate when a band doesn't sound exactly like their CD because it's like I feel like I'm getting something special in that
Yeah.
moment for the show.
It sounds real. Like it's authentic,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Yes. Exactly.
yeah. Like
Green
last
Day was your first concert. That's awesome.
last night
Green Day.
As I Lay Dying and Chelsea Grin and Entheos, I think.
Mm.
But yeah,
When
they
was that?
so much energy. It was
When
awesome.
was that?
Last night,
Oh,
you know.
nice. Oh yeah.
Oh, those are the pictures that I kept popping up everywhere.
Yeah, so, like yeah, they just like I love bands that put on so much energy and just make everybody have a good
Yeah.
time. That's fun.
I've been wanting to see As I Lay Dying live. I've never. That's one of the bands I have not seen yet live.
So good. You'll have to for sure. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I would say if I had to have a superpower, it would be to be able to go to the future and go to the past and just teleport myself from present
Time travel.
time. Yeah, time travel. That would be it.
Yeah,
I don't think we had that one yet, did we?
we've had teleport a lot, but yeah, time travel a little different. But
Time travel would be interesting. It'd be scary, but it'd be interesting just to see you know, what the future holds, and then go back in time and see how things were before. It'd probably make you appreciate, the present time a lot more. But
Exactly.
yeah, right.
I think so.
yeah,
Right. Well, that was about all my questions. Did you have anything else, JoJo?
No.
Anybody in the chat? Wait, well, we're waiting to see if they have anything else. What is the best way people can support you and your band?
The best way people can support us is by spreading the word about us. So please go find us on all of the socials, because we're on all of them. We're on TikTok, we're on X or Twitter, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. We have our website, AmericanOverdoseBand.com. So the first thing would be to go like us and follow us on all those. The second thing would be leaving comments when we make posts, sharing whatever we post, telling your friends about us. All these things don't cost any money, so we're not asking for money. If you want to help money-wise, obviously merch, buying the albums, buying merch, that always helps. If we're coming to a town near you, even if we're within a couple of hours, we ask you come check us out, because I promise you're going to have a great time. We always hang out with everyone that comes out. We take pictures, and I try to give them something at least, whether it's a sticker or a poster or something to go home with. So attending shows, I would say, if you want to support, above and beyond, buying stuff and going to the shows. But if you don't have the means to do either one of those things, it's as simple as just liking our posts, commenting on them, and sharing them, telling your friends about us.
Yeah, exactly. Sharing's so easy to do. So, like, when you like a band, help them out. Just let other people know.
People don't realize how the algorithm looks at those things. So if you're interacting, even a simple horns up or just saying awesome work or whatever, that instantly makes that post show up more on more people's timelines. Exactly. And so it helps the band on a level that people don't seem to understand.
Right. Do you see Brandon's question?
When is the European tour or festivals happening? Cody knows I want him to have them.
Yeah, man, I would love to go out there. Europe would be amazing. That's kind of my dream. I got a couple of dream spots that I would love to go and travel to and play. Mexico's one of them. Canada for sure. I'd love to go to South America and Europe. I think those are all awesome places that I'd love to go visit someday. And those festivals out there are killer, because out there they don't care if you're metal and you're playing with the pop band, or you're playing with the funk band, or you're playing with the indie band. They mix it all up, and I love that, because you're going to be playing in front of a crowd that is not familiar with you in many cases, massive amounts of people. So they don't discriminate with music out there, and I love that.
Well, if you're ever in Canada, you'll have to let me know.
Oh yeah, my cousin's on here. Love Muévete song. Will you be doing more Spanish? Yes. The plan is that we will. So we did our first Spanish song. It's called Muévete, which means move it, and on this album. And so my brother and I both speak Spanish, so we're planning on doing more songs in Spanish and having that Latin influence, since we are, Hispanics ourselves, and we're proud of our heritage, and we want to have that shine. So we definitely will be doing more in the future.
Very
awesome.
Well, I was hoping you would read that question, because I would have butchered that name.
Yep.
Muévete. Yep. You'll have to check out the song. It's very energetic. Even a lot of people have said that the song reminds them of a cross between Static X / Rammstein in a way.
Very cool.
So it's even if you don't speak Spanish, it's got a real positive vibe to it, and it's a great track to cruise to or work out to.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I can pick up words here and there, but that's about it. That's as far as I got. And Germany would be awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Germany's on my bucket list. Germany, Italy, the UK, Australia, those are definitely countries that I would love to go out and visit.
All the places. All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. We cannot wait to hear the new music. And I just want to thank everybody that came and participated. Everybody go follow Cody. Go follow Amerakin Overdose. And anything else, JoJo?
No, just thank you for coming to hang out, and I'm going back inside because I'm starting to get eaten alive.
Thank you guys so much for taking the time and sharing us with your audience. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming to hang out.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good night.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.